This conference will now be recorded.
Well, hello, especially hello, Michelle. So far, you are the only one here, but we're going to get going because it's 11:30, and those on time will get it. So the success formula for FSBOs for again. You don't have to something. Really focusing on at the time. For sale by owners, for myself, was a great. It was actually a really good way for me to generate a lot of business. The important thing, and I'll say it a few times throughout this, is that technically the purple bricks, which used to be COM-free, and the for sale by owner or property guys, if they are listed, technically we are not to be asking them for business. So moving forward on this call, it is up to you how you want to deal with that. The biggest thing is do not coach one of these as to how to cancel one of their listings. But if you just happen to be out door knocking and run into one of them, then so let's go to point one here. We want to start by knowing this truth. So here's a basic premise that makes a lot of sense. The for sale by owners, which we'll just refer to as FSBOs, need us. They just don't, and insert here, because with all the great marketing skills that are out there now, people are believing that these for sale by owners are getting all of the same attention that realtors give them if they go with them. But in doing some research with it lately, the way that they are charging people, the marketing fee, the marketing fee charging them, there is the offer assist. They're actually charging them a lot more, and they are assuring them that they should be going with the buying side of offering 2.5%. So everything I said times 1% on them. The offer assist they're getting is not correct anyways, because they don't know the pricing of the homes and they're basically just acting as Switzerland between the buyer and the seller. So saying that, FSBOs, they just don't know it yet, but they need you. So to help the FSBOs understand that there's a process that we got to follow to build rapport, shows your value. So that's number 2 there, shows your value and solves their problem. Realistically, what solves their problem is they can't get the house sold, or they're getting low ball offers, or they're getting no one through, because of the 98% of the buying public has hired a realtor to work with them. A lot of those realtors aren't, they don't have the confidence enough to door knock onto a FSBO and say, hey, I have a buyer. Are you willing to pay commission? And the reason why is because they're afraid of rejection. And there's one thing that you need to know as a for sale by owner, door knocker, or someone that's going to call them and try to get their businesses. You have to be above those thoughts and really work on your confidence with them, and believe that they do really need us and need you. So the process that it could take on a for sale by owner is, if you watch these for sale by owner signs, again, whether the black and white home for sale with a Sharpie in it, or the COM-free or the purple bricks, or the property guys, or whoever else is out there doing it, Kijiji ads, whatever. it can take a while. You'll see the sign sitting there for a long time. The process may take 30 to 45 days. For sale by owners won't hire you until they realize it's just not as easy as it looks or as easy as everyone else thinks. When they see a for sale sign of someone that's for sale by owner, and then they see a sold sign on it, they just assume, and we all know what assume means, but they just assume that they did it privately and they saved a bunch of money. They don't realize that, they spent X amount of dollars on the marketing plan and they spent X amount of dollars on this offer assist, and they paid buyer's agents 2.5%. There's a stat out there from the National Association of Realtors that only 2% of homes that sell will sell fully private, meaning that private sale got the buyer and the seller just by having a sign on their lawn. Okay, so that's a really good stat to write down. Even if someone is not a for sale by owner and you're doing your pre-qualifying script and you've asked them, before you do that listing appointment, yourself, do you, a couple of stats. 1-2% of private are fully private. So that's one stat to know. And the other one is 98% of the buying public have enlisted a realtor to help them make that move. So things that, these for sale by owners don't always think about. So here's the formula to follow. All right. So A is make your initial contact. If you look at the back, you can use it with way to say it. One you're working with a bunch of buyers in the area. Okay. The other one is, if I noticed your home for sale, and I was curious, have you just sold it yet? Sometimes when we say we have a buyer in the area, they're like, we'll bring the buyer and then we can talk. Ultimately, we don't necessarily have a buyer, and we do want their listing. So you just have to be careful when you say I have a buyer in the area, and make sure that you're being honest with them and saying, this buyer potentially has some interest that I've been working with, but I need to know some more information about your home. All right. And the script just goes through a bunch of questions, because what we want to do is we want to dig their motivation. Okay. And that's obviously, we're going to go over that a little bit in this presentation, but things like, where are you moving to? When do you want to be there? What's taking you there? Let me ask you a question. If I can generate a great offer for you, something you were really excited about, could we do some business? Right. And again, that's them not knowing we're trying to get their listing, and it's our way of asking a lot of questions to get the motivation and to show them our professionalism, because selling isn't telling, which we've talked about before. B, your intention is to get in front of them, see their home, and build the initial rapport. I prefer the door knocking process for sale by owners. So the very first contact, if possible, try to make it in front of them. You dress professionally, again, stuff we've talked about, stuff and you're there with a smile on your face, and you're not a threat. All right. C, never make them wrong. Put a big star beside that one. And you want to avoid handling objections on the phone. See, as soon as you get into a little bit of a battle with a for sale by owner, or say, you're actually stupid for doing this, their back goes up, and your chances of getting them as a client is very slim. So you want to say things like, you know what, I bet you could, I bet you can get this done by yourself. What we want to make sure is that at the end of this process, you are getting all the money in your pocket. When you say that's important to you. Okay, so let them know, hey, you know what, you're probably doing a great job. Where are you marketing your property? All of that stuff. But again, just do not let them think they are wrong by making them feel that way. And an excellent point. I've made a note of that, and one of the first things I will cover when I meet with you. So that's for example, well, what do you charge for commission? You're too much. What do you get my home sold? What do you think my home is worth? Right. So, hey, excellent point. I'm going to write that down, and that's definitely one of the first things we'll talk about when I come and see you. All right. D, we want to keep them for 6 weeks maximum. If you're holding them longer than that, you're just wasting your time and you're getting frustrated. Because anyone that's listed for 6 weeks or privately, their motivation is too low. And by this time, you've talked to them enough times that hopefully you've given them a bit of a listing appointment and giving them a reality on their price and what you do to get homes sold. So don't keep them for more than 6 weeks. But what you want to do is make sure you contact them once a week minimum. All right, you're driving by in the area. Hey, just want to let you know another home in your area is sold. We've got X amount of dollars. Just thought that'd be important information for you to know, because the ultimate goal here is to get your home sold. Hey, another property just got listed. Some value to them is very important. Get in front of them. Hey, how are things going with the sale of your house? Have you had any offers? Right. So it's just a lot of conversation. Nothing that is in a negative tone. Okay. Then critical point number 1, expect to average 4 to 6 contacts before you get a listing signed. Okay, so in front of them, on the phone, maybe you've even gone over and you've done comparables with them, showing them what you have to get done. A lot of for sale by owners will, like some agents, got to break down these walls. And these walls have to be broken down by being the helpful agent that's not pushing, that's just giving them tons of information, being very understanding. Okay. So make sure we contact them on average 4 to 6 contacts before you actually get that listing signed. Another critical point here is 50% of your contacts have to be made face to face. Hey, just driving by, noticed you were home, just want to stop by, have to see how things are going. Listen, when do you suppose you're going to be hiring a great agent like myself to help you get moved? All right, and we'll talk about that a little bit further on as well. But make sure you're in face to face with these people. So I'm going to go back here. Letter H, their motivation is your number 1 qualifier. So you got to learn to dig. And then here's a couple of great questions. And whether it's for sale by owners, we can go further, and it could be any seller or buyer. You got to find their information. Learning to dig it's really a bunch of questions. It's asking the proper questions to see, are they testing the market? Did they know that a house down the street sold for $1 million and they think they can get 1.4, right? So, question here, just so you know, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, how long will you wait, or just so I know, Mr. Smith, how long you wait before you will consider hiring a strong real estate agent like myself? B would be, so what would have to happen before you would interview me for doing the job of selling your home? So again, what would have to happen? Well, if I don't get a home sold, I bought a house and I got to get this sold. Bingo. Again, question. Sometimes they'll just give it up, right? But if they don't right away, you got to keep digging. Ask those questions. All right. Number 1, step plan for I&J. Okay, number 4 here, offer no free services, but provide added value through MLS statistics on every contract. Keep them up to date on the market. Property guys aren't doing that. And if they are, it doesn't mean that they're sending them the right stuff. I have seen comparables and for sale by owners on their counters that are either in a different city or a completely different style of home or a completely different neighborhood. Know the area, know the house where it is, obviously, but give them that added value. If you offer free services, then you become a texting Teddy or Tommy or whatever you call them there, and they're just asking you questions. And basically, you're helping them sell their home for nothing. Don't allow that to happen. Just the added value. And Jay, do drop-bys every day. not home, then just leave a card with a note, please call me right away. Again, you want to show that you are an active agent that is out there looking for buyers and sellers every day. That's going to help them get sold, because all they're hoping is that their add-on property guys, or whatever you call them nowadays, purple bricks. Again, if they're MLS listed, you just have to be careful. Some property guys will reach out and talk to your broker, and maybe I'm talking from experience here, and just say, we're listed, you can't be talking to us. A quick little story, and I know some of you have heard this, but I've probably listed and sold over 20 for sale by owners in the Barrie, Orillia area here in Ontario, and they were all mirrored listings, meaning they were listed by a company, almost, I guess, but the guy who was putting the property guy signs on the property, his name was Jason as well, and he was actually kind of promoting me. He would tell people, just so you know, there's a local realtor, his name's Jason Carpenter, he's going to be giving you a shout, and he's going to try and get your listing. And, he's not really supposed to. But as far as I was concerned, I was free advertising, and they were looking forward to my call. And I just used that to my advantage. So, just do those drop by, leave those cards. All right, so here we go back into master of objection handling. You must practice and role play 30 minutes a day. No excuses. So why do you think we need to practice and be great at objection handling? Obviously, you guys can't answer me. But the reality is the quicker we have a response, or have a response period to someone's objection. And again, the objection is just an unanswered question in the eyes of the seller. Okay. This is how you'll be different from the competition. Again, we have all the right words. Some of these have it. If you don't, I have a digital copy. It's typically $199. There's hundreds of objection handling script, closing, all of that stuff can be digital. You can print out the scripts, etc. Just let me know if you are interested in something like that. I have one in my car right now that I listen to on listing appointments, because it just keeps my one, it practices, it allows me to practice, but two, I just always have that sales talk in my head, the proper questions, the right words, all of that stuff. The proper role play is important. If you don't have a role play partner, reach out to me. I can set you up with other coaching clients, and you can work out sometimes, even if, you should be doing it every day, but if it's just a couple times a day, it's your best way to work on this stuff. It's just like sports teams don't go out and play the big games without a bunch of practices in between, right? And neither should we. If we're going to be professional, we have to be on top of our game at all times. So number 6. So here are some lines you must become really comfortable using when we are working with for sale by owners. So if I could show you a way where I could net you what you want and have me do all the work, wouldn't it be worth 15 minutes of your time to talk to me? Mr. Seller or Mr. Fisbel, the reason I contact you is because I specialize in representing private sellers like yourself who have not sold their homes, but I believe should have. Other lines that you could put in there is, I've been driving by your house for a few weeks now, and it's killing me to see your sign still there without a sold sign on it, when I know that your house is very saleable. Wouldn't it be worth 15 minutes of your time for me to stop by and show you exactly what I do to get homes sold? I don't call it for sale by owners. I just call the ones I believe I can help. You wouldn't sell a Rolex watch at a flea market, would you? Right? So create doubt in their mind without being a negative Nelly, that your house is worth something, and the way you're doing it just isn't going to get you the exposure to get the things done. If you were selling your car, would you put it in front of your house or on a busy street corner? Okay, so this was working on whether they just have a little for sale by sign out front. You're just hoping that buyer just happened to drive down that street that day, right? The odds are low, and these are the things that you want to, you really want to narrow in on with these people. Here's another one, 3%. You know what? I understand we aren't even at that stage yet. I don't know if your home even qualifies for the advanced marketing techniques. Again, creating doubt. Oh, you mean there's no guarantee it would just work for me? Absolutely not. I want to make sure that your home qualifies, the condition of your home, the price you set on your home. I want to make sure that it works for my marketing techniques. And then one I've used a lot is that's not in here, and I'll say it a couple times. I'm sure you have a bottom line that you want in your pocket for money. Isn't that true? Great. So whether I charge you 2%, 5%, or 10%, the most important thing is that you walk away with the right amount of money in your pocket, correct? Again, it's not, we're trying to give them the idea that it's not about how much we are charging, it's about how much they're getting in their pocket. So I'll say that one more time. So I assume you have a bottom line that you want in your pocket for money. Is that correct? Okay, great. So it's not a case whether I charge you 2%, 5%, or 10%. Really, it just comes down to the amount of money you're putting in your pocket. Isn't that correct? Okay. Number 7, we need to educate them. Okay. For those FSBOs who are using a cut rate MLS company, you need to understand what they are giving up. And what they're are giving up. Your car's in the shop, but no one is working on it. All right. Here's your value to them. Nothing worse than driving by a mechanical shop or a body shop and your car is still out with a big dented side and there's a bunch of other cars inside getting worked on and yours isn't. This is exactly what's happening with a for sale by owner. Nobody is promoting the house. It's just sitting there. No one's making those phone calls, those talking to buyers and sellers every day like you active agents are that I work with, or you should be doing that. So maybe there's a little critical point there for you, but you need to educate them that, hey, I turn over stones every single day looking for buyers and sellers. And the more people I talk to, the better chance I will have is getting your home sold, unlike the way you're going right now. No one's working for you. Sure, they've got great fraudulent pictures. How many times have you guys seen a private sale photo shoot where you get to the house and you're wondering if it's even the same house, right? So make sure that you are giving them the reason that you're important to them. Added values to your offer. All right. So never lose sight of the added value you bring to the table. Okay. So things like your average sales price versus the asking price compared to the average MLS statistics. If you take the last 10 of your homes sold and you do your numbers based on the whole area you work in, you will have, it's very little it won't be, but you will usually have a higher percentage, and it will typically be somewhere in the 98% range. Okay. Saving the commission does not work because the buyers expect a reduced price from a FSBO. Hey, I see you have your house listed here at 500, but you don't have an agent. So, if I do 5% on 500, that's $25,000. So we're going to 560, try to get up to that 575 part, right? So buyers are just assuming that because they're not using an agent, they're gonna offer less. Your massive internet exposure. So again, 94% of all buyers start on the internet, and I would actually argue that that's probably a little bit higher. I'm not moving anywhere. My wife is on the internet every day looking at houses for sale. That's just what a lot of people do, but it's the internet. They're not driving down streets just looking at signs only, and they're not looking in the newspaper only. The Toronto Star used to be the largest real estate printed advertising. If you look at it now, it's down to a few sheets, and there are a lot of for sale homes in Toronto. So that just shows you that one of the largest printed companies is now become the smallest, right? So there's a good argument there to be, to tie this one into it. A cut rate discount broker only opens the door. That's when the real work starts. We talked about this on one of our last calls about the market share. If discount brokers really worked, they only have 4 to 6% of market share. If they really worked, wouldn't they have 100%? Okay. Again, just more stuff for your back pocket to talk to these people about. The real work does start once the house is listed, and these discount brokers back off as soon as they list a house. The work's not there. All they're worried about is going to get another listing, because they're not making enough money per sale that they have to work on quantity, not quality. And becoming strong at working with FSBOs is a learned skill. And you can do it if you commit. You can, and you put the effort into your personal growth. You follow up 6 weeks in a row, you will eventually win these people over. And I know from experience, it works. I've listed a lot of these motivated sellers. At least they start looking motivated because they've already got a for sale sign on their property. So again, say this again, because it is illegal to contact for sale by owners that are listed on MLS. So you just have to be very cautious on how you're doing things. But again, we have some people that, whether they're testing the market or they need to sell because they just haven't told you the whole truth yet, you gotta talk to them. All right. This is, for sale by owners are just, to me, it was a great challenge. I loved it. I loved doing the stop bys and having the chats with them, and even just showing that I was interested in how things were going with them. Hey guys, just wanted to drop by. I was in the area again, and I just wanted to see how things were going. Have you had any offers? How many people have you had through? What are you guys doing to market your property? Are you holding any open houses? How many people are coming through the open houses? Did anyone before you guys listed help you with, what you can and can't do with your house? Look over the shoulder. It looks like you have great hardwood flooring there. Sometimes those people, why don't you come in and take a look? Perfect, right? So that's the key, is having these great conversations with some motivated people. But you got to learn to dig. And the deeper you can dig in these people and get their motivation and any of their objections out in the open, the better chance you have of overcoming all of those and listing these properties. So for homework for this week, identify the for sale by owners in your area that you want to contact. If you've seen a for sale by owner out there that has been there for 2 years, take a chance. There's a good chance their motivation's pretty low, because they probably haven't bought anything, or they're just billionaires and they can have a couple of homes. And just start with a minimum of half an hour in your daily schedule. Okay, so again, for those of you that are newer on the call from when it first opened, these tips, these 12 weeks we're doing, we don't have to introduce everything every week, right? Just take some tips from these weeks, and maybe something new comes up and you're like, that's exactly what I want to work on, or I've been wanting to work on. Print out the attached script and just have it ready and use it to keep you on track. Same with any script for anything, just listed, just sold, pre-qualifying, for sale by owners, expired. Have those scripts on hand and stay on track with them. If you get off track, things get lost and the conversation isn't as powerful. Okay? And follow the outline, the plan outlined in number 4. Don't do any shortcuts. That's what weaker agents will do. There's a lot of people say, I have people call me all the time. Yeah, I bet you do. And as soon as you say no, they go away. Don't be the person that goes away. Stay diligent. Stay on them. You will open up more doors that way. And number 4, be sure to practice the plan outlined in point number 4. No shortcuts. In point number 4, be sure to practice the objection handlers needed to help for sale by owners understand why you are the best solution. This is how you'll build your confidence, and this is how you'll build your results. Okay? So I am going to open up to open it up to the group here, and if anyone has any questions or comments, let's chat about it. Hey, Stu.